And so, this is going to go on for years and years, and we'll never find them all, but we're just kind of scratching the surface with some of these things. Okay, so I don't have my script here in front of me that I was going to go through, but let me see if I can kind of wing it. So let's start out with the query by destination date. Okay, click that one. Okay, so what this will do is it'll take you to a link where I can look at all of the ship manifest entries, all 46,800 something entries by destination date. So it's kind of, you drill down by doing the drop-down boxes. So we have fields called destination. So I can look at all the ship manifests for a particular year. So let's look at 1920. Okay, so in 1920, there are 4,100 entries in 1920 that I've abstracted. There are probably about 8,000 entries altogether, but this is what I've abstracted so far. So if you see those little headings in yellow that are section headings, those headings show a particular ship. So this is the SS La Touraine, which arrived in New York on the 6th of January 1920. Okay, so if you scroll down through this thing, you can see all 4,000 entries. We're not going to do that. So go back up to the top, and what I want to do is I want to see, are there any Arslanians that came in 1920? So go to the last name standard. Remember, so this is a list of all the standard last names here, and we're going to look at Arslanian to see if there are any Arslanians that came in 1920. Okay, so scroll down a little bit. There are 29 Arslanians that came in 1920. You'll notice that there's a column called passenger name, and that's the list of the passenger, and some of these people are not Arslanians, so why are they on there? On a ship manifest starting in 1907, there are 3 individuals that are listed on each line of the ship manifest. You have the passenger, you have the name of the person who they are leaving in the old country, and then you typically a mother, or a father, or brother-in-law, or maybe just a friend. And then you've got the person they're joining in the new country. So every single line of the ship manifest can have up to 3 individuals, okay? So let's scroll down, looking for, let's keep going down. Okay, go up a little bit here. I want to do somebody. Okay, can you stop right there? So you see on the Mauritania, which arrived in New York on the 23rd of October 1920, there are 3 individuals there that have some connection to Arslanian. Okay, you have Haganoush Tatesian, you've got Araxi Arslanian, you've got Sahag Arslanian. Sahag was one of those guys I wrote to. He's my dad's, one of his second cousins. Araxi was a sister of Haganoush Tatesian, okay? So let's click on the little, see the little magnifying glass to the left of Haganoush, click on that. And what it'll do is it'll take you to my actual abstract of that ship manifest entry. So these are lines on that particular line of the ship manifest that I decided were important enough to abstract. And I happen to have her picture, so I attached her picture to that page, okay? So that's Haganoush Tatesian, and it has all the information that you'll, or not all, but it has a subset of the information that you'll find in that original ship manifest. And if you scroll down to this, you'll see she was joining a guy named H. Arslanian, and that is Heribert Arslanian, who's my dad's, or my grandfather's first cousin. And if you scroll down even further, and this is the cool thing, is that this is everything I've been able to find about Haganoush Tatesian. I found her in the 1930 and 1940 censuses, and look at her names. She married a guy named Muradian, and she's Haganoush in the first record, but she's Helen in the second record, okay? So how else would I have been able to link Helen Muradian to this, okay? So scroll down a little bit further. So she's named in 2 military records. The role in the military record, NR, says they're the nearest relative. Is this somebody you know?
I just met with the woman whose this family is her father-in-law's family.
Really?
And I just met with them. 3 books they have written, and it's in handwritten. I'm going to be translating it. I wanted to meet her before I came.
Oh, wonderful.
Not expecting to run into their name on this.
Yeah. Well, so this is everything I found about this lady, and I think it was cool because I had the picture because her sister Roxy married Heribert, who was my grandmother's first cousin. So scroll down a little further, so we can see there's 1 marriage record. So even though she was listed as so you can see her marriage to this Sam Demergian, and he actually changed his name to Muradi. Okay, you can see a death. So go down to the death record, and you can see that they actually had a child If you drill down on the death record there. Okay, so this is a death record that just click the little hourglass to the left there. Yeah, okay, so this is a death record that mentioned her. Okay, it's not her death record, but if you scroll down through it, you can see it's a 1-year-old child, 1 year, 4 months, 1 day, that died of, scroll down a little bit further. Yeah, shock following operation for intestinal. So if I find any death record where this person is mentioned in the death record, they will show up on the link on the bottom of this page. So this is kind of my vision originally, is I wanted to be able to pull up a person and find a bunch of records relating to that person, and then you can kind of get a much more complete picture. So scroll back up and you'll see a little button there that says return to query. Or scroll down a little bit further. Actually, hit the backspace key. Okay, so again, it takes you to a page. So let's go back up to that picture where I have H.R. Slanian. This is, yes, hit the right. Thanks. Okay, scroll down until we see the picture of Harrington. Okay, you can see that under joining immigrant ID, he's got 2 entries there, okay? And this means that he arrived, he shows up on 2 different manifests that I found. And let's click on the link for 1909, the second one to the right there. And this will take me to one of the ship manifest entries for this guy that she was joining, who happened to be her future brother-in-law. Okay, and this is my grandfather's first cousin. Okay, so if you scroll down through, you can see the information that was in his 1909 ship manifest. You can see he was joining a brother, and that brother actually was one of his nephews, but you'll find that the relationships are kind of screwy in some of these. Scroll down a little bit further, and you'll find a whole bunch of information relating to him. So you look on the ship manifest, you see that J in that roll column. Scroll down. Yeah. You can see all these different people that were joining this individual. So he brought a whole bunch of people over. And every single one of these people, if you look in that, where the birthplace, and then the last, you can see a lot of them were from that same little area of Ursuline. Okay, so these were cousins, brothers, friends. So a lot of it. So look at this, and a whole bunch of these names look familiar. And some of these names are people whose descendants are actually in this room, I found out. Okay, so scroll a little bit further down. So I found him on the 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940 census, living in Detroit, Highland Park. So scroll down to the military. Okay, so we have, So anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff here on that. So let's scroll up to the return to query button. A little bit further down. There it is, return to query. So that'll take you back to the original query, okay? Okay, so another thing to look at here is I have a lot of different ways of looking at this data. And I don't think we're going to drill down into these things right now, but you can look at birth date, you can look at the name of the person they're joining, you can look at the name of the person they're leaving. But the key thing is you can link from record to record to record to different individuals, and you could go 20 or 30 deep in this linking, and then you press the return to query, and it'll take you back to the original one. So scroll down to the bottom of that, and let's go back to the search page, all the way to the bottom. So project query, that'll take you back to the original search page. Okay, I'll scroll down a little bit. Okay, so I've got this set. Oh, actually, I wanted to look at one more thing on the ship manifest. So go down to ship manifest again. I want to show you what a report looks like. I'll show one report, and then we'll just get an understanding of what that is. So go summary by joining address right there. So again, this is a statistical summary. And if you look at this thing here, it'll tell where were all these people going to, from the middle 1800s to 1930. And so what I've got a list here is these are the cities, the states that they're going to. So you see New York and Massachusetts are almost neck and neck as the initial destination of these people, okay? And these are the percentages, okay? So now if you scroll up a little bit to the top there, you can see where all the options are. Okay, now I can drill down to what town they were going to, which gives you a little bit different picture. So where it says detail by town on the top, click that little checkbox there where it says yes. Detail by, there, click that, and then hit refresh view. And then now what it'll do is it'll show where are the different towns or cities that they were destined for. And now you get a little bit different picture. You see Providence, Rhode Island actually pops up in that number 2 spot. So, yeah, so You see there was, so I found 840 people that went to Watertown. Okay? Okay, so now let's go back, just hit backspace and go back to the, yep. Okay, hit backspace again. Okay, so now scroll up to the top where you see that combined section. So for every one of these primary source types, I have a set of reports and I have a set of queries where you can drill down and look at all the ship manifests for Beirut for the 1920s, whatever. Okay. This section here called combined, what this does is it takes all the different types of primary source records and pulls them together into one query. So if I want to look at a particular last name, we can do that. So click on the last name, standard by all roles, okay, and then click on the little drive. I have a default to something. I think I picked Arslanian here. So I have 903 references to the name Arslanian, and it could be any one of 18 roles. 3 roles in the ship manifest. The marriage records have 6 roles: bride, groom, and then their parents. Okay, so there's 18 different roles. Anybody in one of those 18 roles on any kind of a record is Arslanian. They'll show up in this list. Okay, so let's go down to the drop-down box that has the names. And let's if you scroll down there, these are all the standardized names. Okay, now your name doesn't show up on the list of standardized names. You want to see if they're in the database, go to the Find a Standard Name little thing there. And now hit that same drop-down box. Across all of the different sources, probably 100,000 different abstracts, this is a complete list of every single surname I found, every single spelling. Okay, so go down to G-E-R-J, and let's find one of the different variations of Gergigian. Okay, so let's find a little bit further down. Okay, let's pick GER, one of the two at the bottom. Yeah, one of those two. Just so that these are one of the dozens of spellings of Gergigian that I found. And then hit the click the display standard name thing, and scroll down, and you'll see that I've standardized that surname to Gergigian. So regardless of what I standardized to, you can find it with this particular query. Click on the little checkbox to the left, and then that'll take you to everybody, all the entries I found where I've standardized it to Gergigian. Scroll down a little more. You'll see I found up a little further. Yeah, so I found 162 entries. Okay, so you can drill down in any one of these 162 entries, and you'll find all the different stuff I found on Gergigian across all the different primary sources.
Bravo! Bravo!
So I think that's pretty much it. So I would suggest just go home and have some fun with this. Again, if you see somebody's primary, if you see somebody in a ship manifest, and I don't have a photo, I want a photo from. If you have any photos from 1950 or earlier, send them to me. There's a lot of tools you can do. Some data. I don't know how many of you know the term data mining, but it basically says you have a whole bunch of data out there. How can you ask new questions about that data and find out new things? So you may have seen I posted this little piece of work to the Facebook page a couple of weeks ago, but it just shows how the distribution of adult males, minor males, adult females, minor females change through time. So this is one of the things there. These are those reports. So all of this information is on the standard report. Says where did they come from? You can see Mamredola Aziz, which is the vilayet where Harkoot was located, 25%. It maps perfectly to the group that we've got here. This is something that Luke actually asked me a question about. He said, what is the distribution of sort or birthplace for the people who live in some of these different towns? So, the way I've got it color-coded here on the bottom, these relate to the vilayets or provinces, and they map to the color above. So, this was really cool once I actually did it. The data was there. But if you look at Providence, Rhode Island, or let's say Philadelphia, look at that biggest bar on Philadelphia. Where is that? That's Mamredola Aziz, also called Harkoot, and that's the vilayet where most of them came from. So that's a predominant contributor to Philadelphia. Whereas if you look at Wayne County, Michigan, look at that one there. Where is that? That's Erzurum. So Erzurum, they constituted the majority of the people in Detroit, Dearborn Highland Park. If you look at the San Joaquin Valley of California, which is Fresno and Tulare and Yedem and those places, beetless. Very, very different. Now look at Los Angeles. Remember I said that only 2.3% of the Armenian immigrants to America prior to 1930 came from what is now the Armenian Republic and then the Russian Empire. Where were they all going to? They were all going to LA. Okay. Okay, and again, this is the list I showed you, but if you go to these reports, you can get all this kind of information, and let's see. Here's one I always thought was interesting. When I go through the ship manifest, I see the same street addresses popping up over and over and over again. I think, boy, what was going on at that house? And if you look at the census records, you can find that many of these were large boarding houses, where there might be 20, 30, 40 individuals, many of them from the same village, but not necessarily so. You see a lot of relatives living together. But anyway, so I found the one at the top of the list is 98 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. That was a boarding house there. But then you'll also see that they listed a company where they were going to work for as their address. And Malleable Iron Company, Michigan, the Malleable Iron Works, it's all the same company, but there were about 7 or 8 different sites, and that constituted about 2% of the individuals were going to work for that one company. Okay. Here, this was an interesting thing too. In going through the records that had the actual full birthday listed, especially the draft registrations, I would see the number 15 pop up a lot. Were really all these people born on the 15th of the month? And then when I'm looking at one individual across multiple different records, birth dates, it's very rare to see all records have the same birth date for that individual. So what I did was I went through 7,500 records on the shipment or on the draft registrations, and I just created a histogram of what day of the month were they born on. And I thought it should be pretty evenly distributed between the first day of the month and the 28th, and then the 29th, 30th, and 31st, there should be a little bit less. Okay, and here's what I saw. So, I don't know, maybe there was something in the water in Armenia where the women all gave birth on the 15th of the month, but I think what this shows is a lot of these people, they didn't know when they were born, probably because, they had a lot more important things on their mind than what their exact birthday was. Some of them were orphans and they just didn't know. But what's interesting here is you look at the 1st of the month, the 5th of the month, the 10th, the 15th, the 20th, and the 25th, all little spikes. So they like numbers that were divisible by 5, they like the 1st, and they definitely like the 15th. Okay, then some other things. How many people here have blue or gray eyes? I bet you it's about 10%. 9%. So I looked on the draft registrations that said, what color are your eyes? And 91% of them were brown, hazel, chestnut. 9% of them were blue or gray, and we even had a few green eyes. Okay. These were men, but it's probably the same for the women. Okay, so where are we taking this thing? I'm going to continue probably for the rest of my life abstracting records from these different areas. What I'm doing is I'm focusing on areas where their interest for my family, where did my family and relatives live? That'll be like Granite City, Illinois, East St. Louis, Detroit, Fresno, and the Pacific Northwest. But I'm kind of ignoring New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Richmond, Virginia, and where I really need help is I need people to adopt some of those communities and say, I'm going to pick up all the Philadelphia death records through 1963, which are online. I'm going to pick up the World War I draft registrations for Worcester, Mass. So if you're interested in helping, I have spreadsheets. A number of you in this room, probably maybe 5 or 6 in this room, have actually helped contribute content. But all you need to do is just fill out a spreadsheet. Go year by year, fill out a spreadsheet, send it to me, and I'll put it in the database. I may add some additional source types to the 7 I've got right now. One of the things I'm interested in doing, once they become more available, so I don't drive Tracy nuts, is the alien registrations. I may put birth records of the children that were born in the United States and Canada because the birth records have the maiden name of the mother, which may not show up on her ship manifest if she was already married. And there's no reason with the structure of the database and the design of the thing why 1930. It's just kind of an arbitrary date because I didn't want to have to spread myself too thin. But somebody at some point, you know, after I die, could take this thing and take it to 1970 or something. And if France, for example, or Greece, or Egypt, or maybe even Syria, Lebanon, start opening up some of their records, we could take the same code that I've written and we could do the same thing for records in those countries, even though for Argentina or Cuba or someplace like that. Okay. So anyway, that's pretty much it.
So I didn't think our speakers were going to be the biggest problem today, but apparently I was wrong. And all the good will that was built up in the first session got lost here. So in the sense of timing, if not content, which was obviously outstanding. But so those of you that don't get to do your workshop later today, Mark's going to stay extra late to help you after tonight. But there's actually, unfortunately, there's not going to be time for questions right now. We need to get to our next speaker and. And always online, obviously, is a key way of connecting. Also, I apologize, I had it wrong. I kept saying Luke because he obviously inserts himself into my consciousness whenever he's around, but it's actually Vahe that's the next speaker. Luke is after lunch. So after Vahe, we'll do the far-fed picture, but Vahe is from Hushamadian, and he is the next speaker.